welcome to this week's edition of Hawk Talk. My name's Parker Robinson, and we're going to hop right into things with our Blue Feather focus. The Blue Feather Athletic Association, the funding body of the DSU Heritage Foundation, bringing student athletes in from all over the globe. No better case than our guest today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and where you're from?
My name is Ryan Clark. I'm a senior here at Dickinson State University on the basketball team. I'm originally from Adelaide, Australia, which is on the south coast of Australia.
Yeah, and Dickinson State wasn't your first destination in North Dakota. You started things across the state at Lake Region State College. Talk about that first experience coming to the States.
It was kind of crazy. I never really looked up what Devil's Lake was or North Dakota. I'd been to LA before and I'd been to Iowa. And I sort of just thought, America's pretty much all going to be exactly the same. And so I didn't do too much research. So when I got to Devil's Lake and saw how small it was, I was kind of taken back a little bit. But it's been a great experience coming over here. The people have been awesome, friendly, and I've loved every second.
Yeah, definitely. And how was that experience playing in the 2-year level? Has that helped you going into this 4-year?
Definitely. Just to be able to come in and play straight away was huge for me, firstly. And then my second year to be a leader on that team, I was able to develop some leadership skills, which has helped translate over these last 2 years here at Dickinson as well. Yeah,
and the team had a pretty successful year last year, co-champions in the conference regular season. How was that experience, and how do you guys take that experience going into this year?
It's massive. We had a lot of new faces on our team last year, so to get that sort of experience of playing in the North Star, understand our competition, gel together as a team, now to come back, pretty much bring most of our guys back, has been big for us and hopefully set us up well for conference play starting this week.
Definitely, and heading into this year, you had a bit of a hectic change a month before the season starts. What was kind of the feeling around the team while there was a coach change going on?
Well, it was a big surprise. I remember when Coach Wetzel called us in for a meeting, and I honestly thought we were in trouble, like we did something wrong, and then he dropped that bomb that he was heading off, which is great for him and awesome achievement. But those next 2 weeks, when we were trying to, in the process of finding a new coach, we were kind of hectic, but Coach Tibbs sort of kept us together, took us through some practices, some conditioning and all that, and kept the group together. And then since Coach Vaughan's come in, we just hit the ground running, and he's been awesome for us.
Yeah, Coach Tibbs has seemed to be a big impact on the team last year and into this year. Does the team kind of respect him just as much as a head coach?
Oh, definitely. Everyone on the team loves Tibbs. He cares about us so much, and he lives and breathes basketball. So everyone on the team respects him greatly. Yeah.
And how did having quite a few returners, quite a few seniors help you get through that kind of tough period?
That was massive. We're pretty much all seniors with one junior, a redshirt freshman, and an actual freshman. So having all those seniors around, we understood. It was going to take some time for Coach Stan to find the right guy for our team. We didn't want him to rush that. We wanted to make the right decision. But we understood. We've been around long enough to understand. Stay in shape, to get extra shots up and do all those little things to make sure once our new coach came in, we're ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys have started your non-conference season, but looking forward to this weekend. You guys got a couple big conference games already. How do you prepare for that early in the season?
Sort of these last few games, we've been trying to implement a few things on defense and offense to see what sort of team we are. Like I said, with Coach Vaughan coming in so late, we're still trying to work out some new things. But I feel like we're ready for it. It's going to be a great challenge this week against Valley on Friday and Waldorf on Saturday as well. So it's going to be 2 good tests for us, and just excited to start conference play.
Yeah, and you guys get a lot of home games in December. I'm sure that's nice for the student athlete being able to stay around during finals.
Definitely. These last few weeks we went to Utah and we've been in Montana pretty much every weekend, it feels like. So just to stay here, finish off the semester strong, get all your schoolwork done, and take these finals is going to be much appreciated.
Yeah, at the same time, you guys got a lot of road games in January and February. Is there any thought behind taking advantage of these early games at home?
Oh, we got to. Last year, that was a big thing for us. We defended home court. I think we won all games besides one to Jamestown right at the end of the year. And if you can defend home court, you're going to set yourself up pretty well coming to later stages of the conference play. So we definitely need to take advantage of these first 5 games that we got at home for conference.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not only involved in the basketball team, you're also involved in the TR Honor and Leadership Program. Touch on a little bit about all that goes into that.
TR's been awesome. Just being involved in that is just outstanding, just to be able to give back to the community and meet faces around the campus that otherwise you wouldn't have, has been awesome. And Dr. McBee and Mary are outstanding with that program. They're always trying to find ways to let ourselves, grow as students and, grow as future leaders.
Yeah, with the other students in the program, it sounds like that group is a family and it's really close-knit. Do you feel the same?
Definitely. One thing coming in here last year, not knowing anyone, obviously had my basketball teammates, and then obviously had like my second family in that TR program. Everyone's so nice and welcoming in that group, and it's been awesome to be a part of.
Yeah, and you guys, hopefully those TR kids will come out and support you this weekend in those big games. Valley City Friday night women's tip at 5:30, men's at 7:30, and then Saturday 3 for the women, 5 for the men. Before we let you go, we had some good questions for the men's basketball team last year. We want to continue that on. Best and worst dress on the team.
Best and worst dress. Best dress, I'll give it to AP. He seems to do a pretty good job of keeping himself looking good, and he's giving everyone on the team haircuts, so he's keeping everyone else pretty good as well. Worst dress, that's tough. I'll probably give it to myself, just because I'm pretty lazy on trying to dress up and all that, when other guys are pretty worried about how they look, where I'm just more laid back with it.
At least you have the excuse of not being able to find clothes in your size.
That's true. Yeah.
So, yeah. Last year it was Brandon, so it was much easier.
Yeah, if we had Brandon again, it would be him again this year. He was pretty terrible with what he wore.
Yeah. Well, you'll all be wearing the same thing Friday night and Saturday, so make sure you come out, see Ryan Clark, the rest of the basketball team. Like I said, a women's tip at 5:30 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, so make sure you find your way for the big conference games. Best of luck to you this year.
Thank you very much.
Yep, and we'll be back with another student athlete. Welcome back to HawkTalk for another Blue Feather Focus. We're joined by another student athlete, one that was on the national stage just a couple weeks ago. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, and what brought you to Dickinson?
My name's Julia Falcone. I'm from West Jordan, Utah, and just loved the environment. And when I met Ben, he was really good, so that's what brought me.
Yeah, and you joined quite the 2 straight years of conference championship. Was that in your mind when you were making your decision at all?
Not really. I don't think it really registered. I didn't even realize they won it the first year. The second year I came before they won it, so it didn't really register until the second time, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But when I got here, then it was kind of like, oh, there's like high expectations and you're part of a good team, so.
Yeah, and how has that helped you, having those teammates that had been to nationals and had those experiences in the years past?
Just kind of, they set the bar high, so you kind of have to live up to that bar. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, and we've talked about it with some of your teammates. So often cross country is thought to be more of an individual sport, but how do you see it as a team sport in practice and in competition?
I've always found that your biggest competition are your teammates, because you're not just competing with them during a race. I find during practice you're kind of pushing each other and you're fighting for that top spot, even if it's not intentional sometimes. So you're competing with them on a race and off the race.
Yeah, and it seems like the team's been super close-knit this year. Have you noticed that as well?
Yes, it's definitely like a family, and it's nice because far away from home, it's good to have that.
Yeah, and you guys went to nationals in Washington last week. Talk a little bit about that experience and how awesome that was.
It was great, and we were right on the borderline of Oregon and Washington, so we got to go to Vancouver, we got to go to Portland, and we got to do Seattle too. And that was a lot of fun, and it was just a great experience. Good course, not super scary, but not the easiest, great weather, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and talking about that team chemistry and all that goes into that, how fun is it to travel with your teammates and that hectic part of it as well?
Yeah, it's kind of like traveling with your best friends, and that's really, it's like going on a trip with your best friends, just party all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And you finished second on the team. 1957 was your time. You know, how do you kind of put a recap on your cross country season? How do you think you did?
I came in and it was really bad. It's probably the worst beginning I've ever had of a season. But I finished where I wanted to, so now it's improving times and getting better. But overall, I'm happy with the season. Started out really bad, ended strong, so good for me.
Yeah, and Coach Whitcop, I was talking to him about that nationals race. It sounded like a madhouse with 300 plus people running through the field. How do you manage that and try to get forward?
Honestly, I just was like, okay, I can't tell how I'm doing. My watch malfunctioned, so I really couldn't tell how I was doing. So it was just kind of go out and run and try to push every step, go out your hardest. Yeah, and we talked about it a little before going on air. You've got a nonstop schedule throughout the year going into indoor track and field right now. How do you kind of recover and prepare for that going in the weeks forward? Well, first of all, we take a couple weeks off, which is really nice. It kind of just gives your body all that. You're starting to get sore and all that, so that's nice. Also, Whitcop's really good at mixing in not just runs. We do other workouts, swims and stuff, and that helps a lot. And just stretching and recovery, making sure those breaks really taking them, because that helps with the mental part of just going all year.
Yeah, definitely. How do you kind of take that experience of being successful in cross country, making it to nationals, having that good experience there, and kind of push that momentum into indoor and then outdoor in the spring?
Honestly, I think it's just kind of, you have to start all over, and you got to think, new season, you're not gonna, if you don't do great the very first meet, it's fine, just work your way up to it, and it's really different. Even though it's running, it's all the same thing. It feels different since you're on a track, so it's just keeping in mind that you're building up to the end point. You don't need to be the best at the beginning.
Definitely. And you know, you've only been here for a short amount of time, but you know, being a part of cross country, being a part of different things, what would you say to a friend that was considering coming to DSU? What would you say?
It's, if you want an experience that's away from home, it's a great one. You get a great team, so if you're looking for running, it's a great opportunity. You also, the programs here, you got the TR program, part of that. That's a great opportunity too, if you can be a part of that. And just the environment of the classrooms, they're small. You really get, I went to a larger school, so the classrooms now are even small, and it's nice to be able to kind of know your professors and really know your classmates and feel comfortable within a month. I feel comfortable with a lot of my classmates, so.
Absolutely, and you know, you mentioned coming in here from a big school to a small school. Utah's still cold, so you get some of that, but
yeah.
You know, how's that experience been kind of coming into the community and seeing that part of it?
It's different. It's small town, and I don't know, it's kind of funny because I have friends that are like, oh, this is a big town, and I'm like, oh, this is just, I don't know, it's just different. I like it.
Yeah. Well, best of luck to you as you go into track and field season. Congratulations on a strong finish in cross country. Make sure you check out Julia and the rest of her teammates on DSUBlueHawks.com for all of those results. Check out DSUHeritageFoundation.org to buy your Yule Time tickets. Those are almost sold out, so make sure you get there. Until next week, Hawks are up.